Welcome back to the MXGP of Türkiye, round 5 of the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship. Day 2, race 2 here at the penultimate round, round 5. We're in Afyon, or Afyon Karahisar, to give it its full name. And this racetrack hasn't been fixed overnight. Yes, the jump face is, but having a quick look around this morning, it's still a little bit choppy and technical. So at least the first race of the day won't be a complete road race, and there'll be a little bit technical element to the racetrack. Last year it was a mud race because of the high conditions, the high temperatures, the high winds, but it's a little bit tacky out there. Fresh water overnight and this morning, but nothing out of the ordinary. The women have been out there on their sighting laps ahead of their second 20-minute plus 2-lap race, and things are tightening up in the championship. When we arrived here, Lotte van Drunen was 20 points clear at the top of the championship ahead of Chiara Fontanesi. Just 1 point further back, we had Daniela Guillen with Shana van der Vlis about 36 points off the pace. And as we'll see from the highlights in a moment, the point situation has changed ever so slightly. Van Drunen now on 200, Daniela Guillen 16 points behind. She's moved into second, leapfrogging Chiara Fontanesi, who is now -2 behind her. So 18 points separate the top 3 riders. It was 21 coming into this weekend. The racetrack, we're running at more than 1,000 meters above sea level. It's hard pack, 1,800 meters, 1.118 miles long. Who will it be that stands on the top step of the podium here? So far this year, Lotte van Drunen has yet to miss the podium. She's had a first, a third, a couple of seconds. Chiara Fontanesi got 2 wins, 2 podiums. That was rounds 2 and 3 in Spain and Germany. And then Daniela Guillen, the last 3 rounds, she's been second, third, and first. Let's go down to Lisa Leyland. She was down on the grid a few moments ago with Chiara Fontanesi, and before that, Lucy Barker.
So we're almost ready for the first race of the day this Sunday and the second WMX race of the weekend. But as always, let's touch base with a couple of girls here. We've got Lucy Barker. I want to speak to Lucy mainly because of in Arnhem, the last round, you got a career best result, P4. Yesterday in that first race, Lucy, you got P6. After being in 4th position for quite some time, so kind of slowly but surely, is it fair to say things are going in the right direction for you?
Yeah, I would say I've learnt a lot this year. It started not very good. It was hard because we didn't expect to be that far down, but I've learnt how to sort of preserve myself and not push too hard, because sometimes when you want it a little bit too much, and you've got to, I would say, respect the tracks and the riders around you a little bit more. And you can't always go all out and, yeah, get angry. So I've just learnt to stay calm and be patient and let the races come to me a bit.
And also something else that we've noticed, the starts. I mean, often your starts have caused you a few issues in the past, but you are getting the starts. Is that something you've been working on? Yeah,
since Arnhem, like, I think I worked through from 20th, so we worked on the starts a lot the last weeks or so. Not too much hard pack riding necessarily, because I was in the sand a lot, just learning the sand, as I said. But yeah, it's, you know, you can do it in practice, and then you've got 20 other girls around you, and then it'll just go terribly wrong. So when you do it on your own, you're always getting a whole shot, aren't you? So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's just all about experience, I think, and we're slowly but surely getting there, I think.
Well, enjoy this final race. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's grab a few words now with 6-time world champion Chiara Fontanesi, and also title contender for this year. Chiara, let's talk a little bit about yesterday's race. You got a fantastic start leading the way. You gained ground in the championship, you gained points, but you did lose a position in the championship. How do you reflect on yesterday's race?
Well, honestly, I'm not really thinking about the championship now. I just want to win as much as possible. I'm pretty happy about the season, even if I'm not really close to the championship. I love this track. I'm feeling great. I'm having a lot of fun. I think I did an incredible race yesterday. I just did a mistake that I kept going outside in that corner, but I still managed to do the fastest lap of the race at the penultimate lap. So I think I did everything I could, and it just didn't took me to the win. But I said I really enjoyed racing like this.
Fantastic. And just quickly before you go, you actually won your first GP here as a mum, didn't you? Is that one of the reasons why you like this track so much? Nice memories.
Yeah, it's true. I won in 2021, and I still feel very good on this track, and I have a lot of fun. So I hope I can win again.
Okay. Good luck. Thank you, Chiara. Okay, good luck to the girls here. It's time for WMX Race 2.
Yeah, Chiara Fontanesi has a pretty decent record here. As she said, 2021, she went 1-1 here to win the overall. Prior to that, at the prior GP, same week, she was second overall, so she's had a couple of podiums here. Third overall last year, so not a bad run around this racetrack for Chiara Fontanesi. And great to see Lucy Barker finally getting some of that form and being rewarded for the hard work and consistency. Let's take another look at what happened in race 1 yesterday then. So the first race got underway. All the big hitters over on the right-hand side. Fontanesi, Daniela Guillen, Lotte van Drunen. Larissa Papenmeier made a good start, but on the Kawasaki up the inside of her as Fontanesi ran wide, it was the 5'11" of Martine Hughes who led the way. Guillen went to the outside in the red and yellow. Fontanesi was just behind her in third, Van Drunen in fourth, but she was sort of fourth, fifth, sixth over the next couple of corners. But Fontanesi and Daniela Guillen keen to make an impression, and they did on the first few corners. Martine Hughes got pushed wide, Guillen took over the lead, Fontanesi moved into second, and by the end of the next straight, Lotte van Drunen moved into third. So the top three, not necessarily in championship order, occupied the first three positions at the very start of the race. Hughes was there in fourth place. As the race went on, Fontanesi started to come under attack, and this was the corner where she kept going wide, and this was probably the fourth attempt from Daniela Guillen. Eventually on lap 5 of 11, the Spaniard found her way through, and of course at the top of the championship, when she made that mistake there as well, that meant that would gain a point for Lotte van Drunen. The gap whilst Fontanesi was sat there was down to 15 points, with Guillen being a point behind Fontanesi. Of course, then that meant the gap was now 16 if it stayed as it was. April Franzoni found her way past Malu Jakobsen, and so too did Larissa Papenmeier. Franzoni moved into 7th, Papenmeier 8th, Jakobsen eventually came home in 9th on that 7:05 KTM. But it was Daniela Guillen for the 9th time in her career taking the victory in race 1 from Chiara Fontanesi, Lotte van Drunen, Martine Hughes, a career best, or a season's best, finish in 4th from Amandine Verstappen. Barker was 6th. Take a look at the championship then as it stands right now. So Lotte van Drunen now 16 points clear of Daniela Guillen. Fontanesi 2 points further back, and had Guillen not passed Fontanesi and Fontanesi went on to win, then that gap between first and second would be 15 points. So a bit of a 1 point gain there for the championship leader. Verstappen and Papenmeier gain ground as well in the championship chase. Here's how the riders line up then. Chiara Fontanesi on pole. She was quickest by more than a second over Daniela Guillen on Saturday. Lotte van Drunen goes to line 3rd. 4th is Martine Hughes. So obviously feeling very good. Good time practice, good start. Led for a few corners, came home with her best finish of the season in 4th place. Larissa Papenmeier goes to line in 5th. And then we've got Lucy Barker, Franzoni, Tyra Backstrom, Shana van der Vlis, Danny Gleeson, Amandine Verstappen, and the rest. Masuri, Jakobsen, Salebo, Sanchez, and Scudetita. Lotte van Drunen, 16 points clear, heading into race 2. Bumped into her trainer on the way into the track this morning. Kenny Van Duren said they've made 1 or 2 changes to help give her that boost out of the line, which they felt she was lacking yesterday. Will that translate onto the track for race 2? Daniela Guillen, her 3rd win of the season, her 9th career race win. She moves up to 2nd, leapfrogging Chiara Fontanesi, who drops to 3rd. Fontanesi saying she was happy with the way she rode yesterday, couldn't have done any more, apart from maybe been a little bit more defensive in that one corner where she lost the lead to Daniela Guillen. But she said she was the fastest rider on track. We saw that in time practice. She had the fastest lap of the race with a lap to go. And so maybe she's going to come out firing on all cylinders again. Who knows? Race 2 here at the penultimate round. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up. The MXGP of Türkiye here at Afyon about to come to a conclusion. Fontanesi, Guillen, Van Drunen, Martine Hughes occupy the 4 gates on our right as we look down the left-hand side as they sit behind the gates. Van Drunen didn't get that start that she was hoping for. Instead, it's the 4:23 of Larissa Papenmeier. Sweeps around the outside. Fontanesi into the lead though by turn 2. Hughes, another good start for her as well. She's in third place, but it's Fontanesi who leads the way. Papameyer second, Hughes on the Kawasaki third. Franzoni, a good start in fourth on the 153 there in orange. Barker, a good start. She sits in fifth place. That's her going around the outside now, just getting pushed back ever so slightly. Guillen around about sixth place, but already making inroads. Fifth place as she drops into this corner. If she can get up the inside of the 274 of Verstappen. Van der Vlis is next. Where is the 401 of Van Drunen? She's in around about 10th or 11th position. There she is in that left-hander now. Just about to hit the face of the jump now. So she has got a lot of work to do, and all of a sudden, we saw her looking up to the sky. She was sat behind the gate. Looked like she was maybe a little bit nervous. Here she is, the 401, getting around the outside of the 841 there of Nelly Fransen, the JK Racing Yamaha rider. Van Drunen needs to keep a cool, calm head here. Barker just ahead of her there, 3:10. So she's lost a little bit of ground on this opening lap as well. Barker holds the inside line. Van Drunen goes by. She's just sat behind Verstappen, so probably in around about 8th place at the moment. But Fontanesi clear at the head of the field by 2.5 seconds over Papameyer. Guillen about another second or so further back. We'll get them over the line here. Fontanesi leads 2.2. Papameyer is next, then Guillen. And Daniela Guillen needs to find a way quickly past the German ahead of her in blue here. Another good start for Martine Hughes, sitting there in fourth. Van der Vlis in fifth. A better start for her. Franzoni, Verstappen, Van Drunen in 8th. Barker 9, Fransen 10, Danny Gleeson 11. Then we've got Malu Jakobsen, then Skura Tita, Salebo, Backstrom, Masuri, Sanchez, Runkiar, Palato, and Cheplakova. And this gap going out between Fontanesi, your leader, and Guillen here in red and yellow to 3 seconds. Guillen can't afford to hang around. She did all the hard work yesterday, took over the lead on lap 5 of 11. But with Fontanesi sitting there at the head of the field, she is in pole position at the moment for the overall Grand Prix victory. Second would be Daniela Guillen. And you put the flag out now. Van Drunen on 2:13, Fontanesi on 2:07. The gap would be down to 6 points. Not what you need when you've got one more round to go, 2 weeks from now in Australia. So all 3 riders in the championship chase know they cannot afford a mistake in this second race here. Van Drunen pulling tear-offs left, right and centre. Is she going to be in danger of suffering visibility issues later on in the race, because it is a freshly watered track overnight? See a little bit of water there. Verstappen just ahead of her in red. Doesn't get a good drive through the waves, and Van Drunen gets alongside the Belgian. Outside-inside combo. Van Drunen made the pass, but Verstappen making it work even harder to make it happen, and Verstappen regains that position, goes back into 7th place. So Verstappen making the championship leader work for every single point in this second race. Fontanesi, quickest rider on track, 2:13.092. Papameyer was next in the 2:14s. Alongside Guillen, those two half a second in it as they hit the line. And this is that battle for second place. Larissa Papameyer, the 423 SYE Racing Team 423 rider on that Honda. The lead rider in shot. They're now 3.5 seconds behind Fontanesi, your race leader. Papameyer eyeing up 4th in the Grand Prix at the moment. Making it very difficult for the Spaniard, Daniela Guillen.
30 seconds at 90 milliseconds.
Hughes just there in fourth. Van Drunen still hasn't found a way past Verstappen, buried in 8th place. Not good, this, for the championship leader at the moment. I'm sure the pit boards will be telling her, just breathe, calm, focus, all of those things just to try and encourage and help settle those nerves. Said in the commentary in race 1 yesterday, Daniela Guillen and Chiara Fontanesi, both winners here, both been on the podium outside of that as well. Van Drunen in 3 attempts, yet to find a way onto the podium. This time, Guillen gets around the outside of Papenmeier, does move into that 2nd position on lap 2. Now she has clear track. Can she close down a 5.5 second gap to Fontanesi? That's her, top of your screen. Into the left-hander now, and then you've got Guillen hunting her down. But Van Drunen, her first attempt here back in 2022. Ooh, off track, turn 5. Seventh in her first attempt here as a first ever Grand Prix rider. WMX in 2022, Lotte Van Drunen, 7th overall. 6th a year later, 5th last year while she was fighting for the championship. At the moment, she's going to be 4th overall if she stays where she is. Shana van der Vlist just ahead of her. So Franzoni, I think, has found a way past van der Vlist. Or has Franzoni gone missing? We've got Fontanesi leading the way. Guillen, Papenmeier, Hughes. We know they are the first 4. Need to go wide. I want to see who's ahead of van der Vlist here. So we're coming, yeah, Franzoni there in 5th, van der Vlist 6th, Van Drunen 7th. So Verstappen's made a mistake, she's dropped down to 10th place. Martine Hughes eyeing up a podium, 3rd overall, if she can stay where she is, but situation kind of out of her hands at the moment as well, because some of it depends on this, what's going on here with Van Drunen, how many more positions she can climb up the leaderboard. The Debach Yamaha rider trying to tip up the inside of the 188 of Van der Vlist, who got on the podium for the 2nd time this year at a home Grand Prix, last time out in the Netherlands at Arnhem. Just under 12 minutes plus 2 laps to go. A tricky turn 11 at the end of the wave section. You see the mixture of conditions. Oh, heart in the mouth moment there for Van Drunen. The front brake in traction. Very lucky to stay up on 2 wheels. Loses ground to Van der Vlist. I was just talking about the circuit conditions outside. Those berms are very dry and loose and powdery and crumbly. And then you get on the main part of the racetrack, a little bit sticky, slick on the freshly water zone. Watch this here, watch this front end. Now, if that would have been anybody else with shorter limbs, may have just folded the front and gone down. And then you're dealing with muddy gloves, muddy grips, having to regroup, fight back through traffic once again. Fontanesi now 4 seconds, 4.3 seconds clear of Daniela Guillen, although Guillen setting the fastest lap of the race that time around by about 3.5 tenths. Papenmeier 4.5 seconds further back in 3rd. Hughes another 1.5 seconds down in 4th. Then we've got Franzoni, Van der Vlist and Van Drunen. It's these 3 riders here. April Franzoni looking at 6th position overall in the Grand Prix at the moment. That'll be a career best for her. 7th overall in Spain and Germany. So Franzoni on the Honda SR Motor Blues Motul machine. Having a good run this weekend. 7th in race 1, 5th currently in race 2, ahead of these 2. Here's Guillen, gap coming down, 4.3 seconds. Fontanesi fastest in Sector 1, 34.5, 35.0 for Guillen. Sector 2, pretty much even Steven. Sector 3, just there, 28.3, 28.1 for first and second, respectively. So the gap still hovering at 4.1 seconds. Guillen is going to have to dig very deep if she is to get on the rear wheel of Fontanesi. Put the flag out now. Fontanesi, your overall winner, 47 points. With Guillen tied. We knew that would be the situation yesterday. Fontanesi did everything right until she got past. But she also knew that if she finished second, another good start, finishing ahead of Daniela Guillen, she would have the opportunity to win the Grand Prix. And that is the position that she is in at the moment, although the gap coming down to 3.7, 2:11.01, Fontanesi, 2:10.9 for Guillen. Seven points the gap at the top of the championship. 8 now, actually, because Van Drunen has moved past Van der Vlist and into 6th place. And 2.5 seconds further up the track is April Franzoni. Here is the red plate holder, championship leader, Lotte Van Drunen. Here's how she found her way past Franzoni. Just in that middle corner, under the Monster Energy bridge there, gets alongside the French rider, jumps past, and easy past in the end. Sorry, on Van der Vlist. Moves up into 6. There's Franzoni just ahead of her. Looking like those nerves have dissipated for a moment. Looking like she's just settling down as this circuit is drying out. Not going to be good enough for a podium as it stands right now. Martine Hughes is still there on 36 points. Van Drunen on 35 points. Hoping to keep a 100% podium record alive for the season, but hoping to gain more points in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. Started the weekend 20 points clear, started race 2 16 points clear. It's down to 8 as it stands right now. She will only gain another point if she finds her way past Franzoni, but that will be 9. Fontanesi, 5 laps in the books. Fastest lap of the race, 2:10.144. Guillen, even quicker, 2:08.7. 2.4 the gap now between these two. Fontanesi, bit of a moment there. Just after the finish line. Into the right-hander, turn 16. Right, who's going to blink first between these two? Fontanesi or Guillen? Fontanesi knows she needs to stay there to take the overall Grand Prix victory for the 3rd time this season, and for the 3rd time a visit to the podium. Papenmeier being closed in by Hughes now. This will strengthen Hughes' position for a 3rd place visit to the podium. So nothing in it between these two. Martine Hughes hasn't had a podium since Lombardia 2022, the opening round of the season, when she was 3rd overall behind Nancy van der Ven and Lynn Volk. So Martine Hughes eyeing up her 2nd career podium. But again, depends what happens behind. Van Drunen still trying to close in on Franzoni. That gap still 2.5 seconds between the French and the Dutch rider. And with Hughes all over the back of Papenmeier here, about a second, 1.5 seconds. She moves into that 3rd place. That'll give her another couple of points, put her on to 38. Oh, hello. The gap coming down. It was 2.1 at the last split at the end of Sector 3, but we're going to hit the line now. It's not going to be 2.1 seconds anymore. And at the end of lap 6, the gap 1.8, and we now start to hit the moment where we have traffic on the horizon for the leaders to deal with. And the battle for third intensifying between Pappamire and Hughes. Pappamire in blue, Hughes all over the back of her. On that green Kawasaki in fourth place, the rider from Norway. And Van Drunen is up in the fifth place. She's found her way past Franzoni. Because I think Franzoni fell. I saw Wave Yellows in the corner. That might be in the final turn. So Van Drunen 4, Van der Vlis 5, Barker 6. Sorry, 7. Yeah, that's it, the final turn. That's April Franzoni. That was what the yellows were for. Looks like she's holding her right leg there. Well, that'll be a tough blow for the French rider. So Martine Hughes and Van Drunen tied, 36 points for the third step of the podium as it stands right now. Pappamire Hughes, that's the battle here for third place. Van Drunen about 6 seconds further back with 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Can't really see that gap coming down where the Dutch rider is going to be able to... Oh, is that Van Drunen? Saw yellow flags in the background. No, Van Drunen's still upright. 34 seconds in sector 2. Larissa Pappamire. So far this year, best results, best race finishes have been the 2 fifth-place finishes at her home round in Germany. But she has been 5th overall twice this year, Spain and Germany, but she loses third in the race here at the moment to Martine Hughes, the rider from Norway. Now, gaining another couple of points. Already out of visibility though. Looks like she was wiping the goggles there with her thumb as she came out of that left over that jump. This was the corner where Franzoni fell, look. That's why the medical flags are there as they deal with the rider from France, the 153 Team Honda Motor Blues SR Motor rider. Looks like she may have just tipped over to the right side, possibly, and put her foot down, got caught or twisted in one of those ruts. Just judging from the way those ruts are that deep through that left-hand turn. She went in left, maybe pitched, went over to the right side, put her leg down, maybe an ankle or lower leg injury, not sure what, but certainly in a little bit of discomfort down there. Gap 1.6 between Fontanesi and Guillen. Again, more traffic, time ticking away. Ooh, lost a bit of time there in that sector 2. Daniela Guillen 35.1 in sector 1, 34.9 Fontanesi Guillen 33.7, 34.9. So the gap going back out to 2.7 seconds with a little bit of traffic as well. 3 laps to go. Oh, mistake there from Fontanesi. Fight in the front end, had to take both feet off the pegs, but look how quickly Guillen has closed back in on the Italian. A little bit stuttery through that left-hand turn, the number 8. And the red and yellow of Guillen. Closing in once more. This for the overall Grand Prix. Here's Van Drunen all over the back of Pappamire. This is going to be for 4th place. And Van Drunen gets around the outside and gets squeezed to the inside there by the German. Desperate to hang on to that 4th place finish. Said yesterday she didn't ride well, Larissa Pappamire. But looking a little bit more relaxed and settled in race 2. But look at the gap here, nothing in it between these two with 3 to go. Pappamire and Van Drunen went over the line less than a second apart. Ruts getting deeper. Circuit drying out as this race goes on. Waved yellows here. Oh. Will that be looked at? Who knows?
The second position, Julian in 30. Julian is...
So Fontanesi leading the way. Guillen losing ground there, coming out of that left-hander.
Bugünün Fontanasi'yi sıkıştıran ismi. Julian.
There was a rider down, wasn't there? Oh, hang on. So, right, waved yellows. Fontanesi doubles. Guillen goes single-single because of the incident there on the face of the jump. So, beyond my remit, that. But the gap, 2.1 seconds now between first and second. As we head towards the final 2 laps. 2-lap board getting ready. Daniela Guillen, if she's going to want to go out and win this, she's going to have to find a way past the number 8. And do it the hard way. Van Drunen has found a way past Papamaya. Moves into 4th position. And he's 2.5 seconds behind Martine Hughes. Martine Hughes was a 2:14.8 last time around. Van Drunen was a 2:13. There's still time in this race for Van Drunen to get back to 3rd. Gap still hovering 2.3 seconds between these two. Van der Vlis 6, Barker 7, Gleeson 8, Verstappen 9, Jakobsen in 10. Get a gap at the end of the straight in the opposite direction. So where we are going now to the opposite side, to their right, when we go through the little right-left chicane, is where we will get the next gap. It was 2.3 as they hit the line at the start of this penultimate lap. As we head through this turn now, it's down to 1.47. And Guillen, the fastest time in Sector 2 for the race, 34.2, 33.3 for the Spaniard. And you can see her closing in on the Italian. All over the back of her now. Fontanese's heart will be in her mouth, knowing that the Spaniard is closing in on her. This is for championship points. It's also for the overall Grand Prix classification. Looking back, just at the timing screen, 2:12, the best lap of the race for, just looking up, Fontanesi, penalty for not restricting the waved yellow flag. So that'll be a loss of championship points, not the position in the race. But going into the final lap, neither of these two know that. Van Drunen setting her best lap last time around, 2:12.3. She is 1.3 seconds behind Hughes if she's to gain a couple more points. And as we go into the final lap, Guillen setting the best lap of the race so far, 2:08.5 compared to a 2:09.8 at Fontanesi. This is the gap between these two. So this is the reason why. You see the waved yellows there on the outside. Fontanesi doubles, Guillen goes single-single. There's waved yellows there on the next, and then Fontanesi jumps the triple as well.
Çok yakınlar, çok. Önde Fontanesi atladı, arkada Julian atladı. Julian Fontanesi.
I think the triple afterwards, you can argue that you're after the scene, because the waved yellow wasn't on the top of the jump following that incident. Anyway, that will be disputed, I'm sure, after the race. But Fontanesi leading on track at the moment. She will keep her position in the race, but she will lose championship points. As I understand it, I think it's 5 points for an infringement on waved yellows. So that would be costly in the terms of the championship chase. She will still hold the position to maintain the Grand Prix. Handful of corners to go. We go left, right. Drag weight to the final turn. Fontanesi still in control of this one. Van Drunen half a second behind Hughes in their battle for third. Final turn here. Fontanesi's going to cross the line. She's going to win the race in the overall Grand Prix, but she'll get back and find that she's been penalised for jumping on waved yellows and losing 5 championship points. Here's how tight it is between Hughes and Van Drunen. Van Drunen to the inside, Hughes to the outside. This is going to be for third overall in the Grand Prix. 2 corners to go. Can the Norwegian hang on? Can Van Drunen hang on? Or maybe even make the move even? The draw, the run to the final turn. And Martine Hughes will cross the line in third. That's going to be third overall in the Grand Prix as well. Relief for her, Van Drunen shaking her head. She's not going to be on the podium for the first time this year. Too long to get going. Another poor start. Maybe there was some nervous tension at the start, looking up to the skies and taking some deep breaths. Well, we've definitely got a game on and a race on at the top of the championship now.
Enteresan bir finish. Fontanesi, Julianus. Bakalım yarışma komiserleri neler söyleyecek.
So Fontanesi will win the Grand Prix. 47 points.
214 puana yükseldi.
But I think the points as they will be Van Drunen 218, Guillen 206, Fontanesi 202.
Best time'ı da Fontanesi yaptı. 2.08.228 ile. Fontanesi için yarışma direktörleri kararı verecek ama şu anda kazanan Fontanesi. Biz onlardan gelecek haberi bekleyeceğiz. Nasıl bir değerlendirme olacak? Julianus, Van Drunen,
So
Parker,
an interesting
Verstappen,
race 2.
Bu arada Formula 1 pilotu Max
Waiting for Matthias Salebo and Nelly Fransen to cross the line. There goes Salebo. But Fontanesi will win the Grand Prix
birinci sırada bitiren isim.
with a second and a first. Guillen will be second overall with a first and a second.
Az sonra ödül töreni gerçekleşecek.
Third overall.
Tabii yarışma direktörlerinin vereceği karar doğrultusunda bu kararın nasıl şekilleneceğini bilmiyorum. Ama son ayak 20-21 Eylül tarihlerinde
We are trying to find Chiara Fontanesi for a post-race interview. Third in the Grand Prix, Martine Hughes. What a fantastic return to the podium for the Norwegian. Does it with a fourth and a third this weekend. Lotte Van Drunen, fourth overall with a 3-4.
Şampiyonluğuna ulaşmış bir isim. 2012-2015 yılları arasında arka arkaya 12.
So the FIM down there, Mr. Ingo Parch, our FIM race director, probably had a word there. Well, they see Chiara Fontanesi probably being told the bad news, so she's gone from elation to heartbreak. You see the disappointment in her eyes there as she rides away. Yes, she's going to win the Grand Prix, but she's lost 5 points in that World Championship fight. So as it stands right now, it looks like it's going to be Daniela Guillen, 12 behind Lotte Van Drunen. Fontanesi another 4 points further back. Danny Gleeson found her way into 7th on the final lap with a pass on Shana van der Vlist. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland. She is with Chiara Fontanesi, our Grand Prix winner, but yeah, it didn't come without its problems.
Chiara Fontanesi, congratulations. That's your third Grand Prix victory, sealed with a race win, but I guess you've heard the news, there's mixed emotions right now.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy about the race. That's what counts for me. I think I respected the rule because the beginning of the year is never really clear about the flags, and I, on purpose, on my own, asked how was the rule, and they said that with the wave, the arrow flag, you can jump. So that's why I did it. But I don't know honestly what happened, because I think Daniela also jumped with me, the triple. So I don't know. I need to understand a little bit more. I'm just very happy that it's not the flag that make you win or lose. So I know what I did, and I'm really, really happy about that.
Great job. Thank you, Chiara.
So Chiara Fontanesi then winning the Grand Prix with a second and first, but she will lose championship point. As it stands right now, of course, they can protest and debate it with the officials once they've seen the evidence and everything is there plain to see. Give you the results then from WMX Race 2, shall we? Chiara Fontanesi wins Race 2, her 51st career race victory. Daniela Guillen second, Martine Hughes third, and that's going to be good enough for third overall, as we'll see. Van Drunen fourth. Tough weekend at the office for the championship leader. Larissa Papenmeier fifth, Lucy Barker sixth, Danny Gleeson and Shana van der Vlis. Gleeson finding her way past the 188 on the final lap. Ninth for Amandine Verstappen, Malo Jakobsen crossing the line in 10th. Then we had Tyra Backstrom, Matthias Salebo, Nelly Fransen. Then we had Sanchez, Ronquier, Haggard, Anderson, Cheplakova, Masuri, Skuratite and Polato.
Polato'da 1 puan alma başarısını gösterdi. Tüm bu sonuçların ardından dünya şampiyonluğu da şekilleniyor.
Chiara Fontanesi on the top step of the podium for the 24th time in her career, 59th career podium. Daniela Guillen second overall, Martine Hughes third overall, and for Martine Hughes, her second podium and her second time as a third place finisher. Lotte van Drunen, Lucy Barker rounding out the top 5. Lucy Barker, a fourth and a fifth, the last 2 rounds of the championship. Van Drunen leads the way by 12 points over Daniela Guillen. Fontanesi losing second overall this weekend and goes 4 behind the Spaniard. With 1 round to go in Australia 2 weeks from now, Papenmeier moves up to 5th in the championship, 1 point clear of Verstappen. Martine Hughes moves up onto page 1 into 7th.
Böylelikle dünya şampiyonasında liderlik koltuğunda Van Drunen, Julien'den müthiş bir atak gelmiş oldu. Geride bıraktı ve liderlik koltuğunda şimdi onları Fontanesi ile takip ediyor.
Manufacturers Championship looks like this. Gas have leapt ahead of Yamaha by 8 points. They move to the top of the manufacturers classification. Yamaha dropped to second, no change from there. KTM stayed third from Honda, Kawasaki, Fantic and Triumph.
Sıralamasına baktığımızda, yani markalar sıralamasına baktığımızda Afyonkarahisar, MG Afyonkarahisar Motofest'te muhteşem bir gün.
Getting ready to go down to the podium then. Our first podium of the weekend, WMX here. Round 5 is in the books. 1 more to go in Australia. Martine Hughes from Norway. All smiles for the Norwegian rider. Third overall this weekend. Daniela Guillen, second overall. With a win and a second. Fourth and a third for Martine Hughes, her first podium since round 1 Lombardia 2022. That's a long time in the making. Chiara Fontanesi on the top step. I'm sure conversation has been going on behind the scenes as to exactly the situation that she said she wants to understand. But 2-1 for the Italian.
Mr. Mahmut Nedim Ülke. Give the trophy, third place, Martine Hughes.
Martine Hughes, third overall, second career podium, second time as a third place finisher. The TMF Vice President handing her second WMX trophy. Fourth and third for the Kawasaki rider from Norway. Second overall, Daniela Guillen. And the RFME Spain national team gas rider, Uyun Baisan, the TMF Vice President, hands the second place trophy to Daniela Guillen. Her 17th career podium, 6th time as a second place finisher. She got her 9th career race win yesterday in race 1. But Chiara Fontanesi, your overall winner here in Turkey, round 5, the penultimate round. 51 race wins, 24 times a Grand Prix winner, 59 podiums now for the 6-time world champion.
Mr. Mahmut Sadık Vefa, give the trophy to winner team manager, Luca Fontanesi.
And that's your podium. We've just got one more thing to do. Obviously, the championship leader's red plate, Lotte van Drunen. She arrived here 20 points clear. She will leave here 12 points clear as we head into the final round. Very mumuch game on at Darwin in Australia 2 weekends from now. Mr. Antonio Elia Portela, the FIM CMS director, will deliver that red plate to Lotte van Drunen, who for the first time this year finishes off the podium, 4th overall with a 3rd and a 4th. Just a little long to get going at the start of race 2. But she'll look at the big picture tomorrow. She still holds a 12-point advantage at the top of the championship. You'd rather be 12 points clear than 12 points behind. Here in the FIM, the top 3 overall this weekend, the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Türkiye in Afyon, ends with Chiara Fontanesi standing on the top step of the podium with a 2-1. Daniela Guillen second with a 1-2. Martine Hughes with her second career podium with a 4th and a 3rd. We'll talk to the top 3 in a few moments, but here's the highlights of race 2. WMX race 2 then, and it was Chiara Fontanesi over on that far right-hand side who thought she got the edge, but it was, in fact, Larissa Papamayr, but as she drifted wide, Fontanesi snuck up the inside on the exit of the first turn, took over the lead going into turn 2. Another good start for the rider on the green machine, Martine Hughes. She was your whole shot rider yesterday in race 1. She was 3rd coming out of the second turn. Daniela Guillen and Lotte van Drunen, the championship contenders, were buried in around about 7th and about 11th position, respectively. Guillen, though, got the hurry up, eventually caught the rear wheel of the 423 of Larissa Papamayr, made the move for second. That was on lap 2. There's Fontanesi disappearing in the head of the field. We had an incident there with April Franzoni. That allowed van Drunen then to move into 5th place on lap 6. She then had clear track, cementing her position on the podium. That was a crucial pass on Papamayr by Martine Hughes as she moved into 3rd on lap 7. That's where she would end. Then we had this incident here, waved yellows, where Fontanesi jumped on that double coming out of the turn. Final lap, final couple of corners. This for a podium between these two, Martine Hughes and Lotte van Drunen. Van Drunen needed to make the pass, wasn't able to do so. Hughes hung on for 3rd. Fontanesi went on to win the race from Guillen and Hughes. That's how the podium finished. But at the moment, that yellow flag infringement means that Fontanesi will lose 5 points in the World Championship chase. She does hang on to the Grand Prix, though, winning for the 24th time. Guillen 2nd overall, Hughes 3rd, her 2nd career podium. Van Drunen continues to lead the championship by 12 points over Daniela Guillen, who now moves to second. Fontanesi 4 points further back in third. That was Turkey. One more round to go. Lotte Van Drunen continues to lead as we head to Australia.
Chiara Fontanesi, congratulations. Let's focus on your racing for this weekend. A second and a race win. You got a third overall victory of the season. You dealt with the pressure from Daniela perfectly in that second race. You were looking good out there.
Yeah, I felt amazing the whole weekend here. I liked the track. I knew that I could feel pretty comfortable here, and that's the result of enjoying riding. And I took two good starts, two good race, a good rhythm. It was definitely a big pressure with Daniela behind me for basically the all motos, but it's where we improve, it's where we learn, it's where we get better, and races like these are just amazing. So pretty happy to win 3 GP out of 5. It's just an amazing season for me.
Great job. Thank you, Chiara. Second overall today, we have Daniela Guillen. Daniela, a race win in that first race and a second. You were really applying the pressure to Chiara. How do you reflect on your weekend?
Yeah, I'm really happy for the moto I do. I think I'm in a good level, a good rhythm with the bike and also with the track. But yeah, I'm so happy for the race, and we'll see what happened the last one.
Thank you, Daniela. Third overall today, we have Martine Hughes. Martine, it's been a while since we've seen you on the podium. This is your first podium this year, but I think your first podium in like 3 years or something. It's been a while. 2 solid races for you, and you were dealing with the pressure from Lotte behind you in that second race.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it feels great to be back on the podium.
Tell us about the race.
I had a good start, and then I tried to pass Papenmeier as fast as possible, because I knew Lotte was coming, and then I could really feel the pressure from her the 2 last laps, but I think I managed it well.
Great job for this weekend. Thank you, Martine.
A second career podium for the 511 from Norway on the Kawasaki, Martine Hughes. Fourth and a third, dealing with the pressure from the championship leader, Lotte Van Drunen. The last 2 laps, certainly the last few corners, there was nothing in it as they hit the line. In fact, they did hit the line. 3/10 was all that separated the Norwegian from the rider from the Netherlands. Second overall, Daniela Guillen. She was victorious in race 1. Didn't quite have the beans in race 2. But second overall, she moves to second in the championship. She started the weekend 21 points down on the championship leader, Van Drunen. She heads into the final round, 12 behind now in that second place. Chiara Fontanesi, your overall winner with a second and a first. 3 Grand Prix victories out of 5 for the season. 24 wins now in the books for the number 8, 6-time world champion. We've definitely got a game on as we go to Darwin for the final round. Who will it be that is crowned world champion 2025? We're going to take a break. We'll be back at 11:25, so just under an hour from now. And that will be for EMX 250 Race 2. We'll see you then.